Welcome to Truck and Travel. I'm Derek.
I'm Cinnamon.
We've been wanting to make a video like this for a while now. We started our business because we wanted to be our own boss and we wanted to make more money and, you know, have more decision making on where we went and all that. When we first started out in hotshotting, the loads were paying great. And everything was above $2 a mile, and we're even getting $3 and some change per mile. And then we started our own hotshot business. We had no clue on where to go, you know, to where we would have loads coming back. So we're a little blind doing that, but we would still find good loads. We found some short runs that were like $6 a mile. And it'd be over $600 for the total pay. I think that was probably the best we've done, but we never, for a full week, like granted, we never worked over 5 days in a week, except for when we went cluelessly out to Western
Florida
Texas.
and
Yeah,
Texas.
yeah. So, but besides that, like we never broke 5,000 on our own. And I know there's a lot of people that did in 2018, and who knows, maybe they still are, but 2019, like it seemed like after November of 2018, it started to really get tough and to find good, decent paying loads. It seemed like it started to get good or get a little bit better, and it was the beginning of April maybe. But it feels like November and December, or yeah, November, December again, how it was bad. It seems like the loads started to get really good for hotshotting, maybe flatbedding, or maybe just trucking in general, because that's what I've been hearing, like after they came out with the ELDs. And what that did was it made people be honest to where they're only driving what they could instead of, you know, fudging the
Paperwork.
the logbook and driving even more than what they should. So that made the rates go up. But there was a driver shortage, you know, because there wasn't enough drivers on the road to cover what was covered. And so it was like, what I'm told is that an average of the ratio is like 1 driver to every 3 loads. But now there's a lot more drivers. There's over 3 million total drivers in transportation, whether it's straight truck or semis or hotshot or whatever, commercial driving. There's over 3 million, and now there's more loads too, but now the ratio is 1 driver to every 1.3 loads. So that's really messed with everything. It's causing the rates to go down. This isn't the worst it's ever been in history, but for somebody that's not used to it, it seems like the end of the world. It feels pretty rough to us because we shouldn't have been in business in the first place. We had high debt, and then we bought all brand new equipment. And
Not all new, not the truck. Well,
this truck was brand new when we bought it.
we didn't just go out and buy it though. We traded it in, and for certain reasons.
So it was even worse than getting a brand new truck because it cost even more than a brand new truck because we had a trade-in.
Yeah.
So, and we had a bunch of debt and we had no money really sitting aside. So we're behind the 8 ball to begin with, but we're living off of hopes and dreams off of 2018 because the rates were so good.
The money that we did have set aside got used up in starting our own authority with like setting up a drug test, you know,
And all that.
program,
yeah.
authority, all the stuff.
And then we used a credit card and we wiped that out because we didn't know how to load ourselves properly to where we weren't making enough money. But aside from that, you know, now the climate that we're in, all of the rates are going down. Like most of them I'm seeing, even tarp loads, which would be always above $2 a mile, are now below $2 a mile. And there are so many loads that are only like $1.30 per mile, and it's so stressful right now. And we get a bunch of people that ask us, should I get into hotshotting? Da 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 da. I just bought a brand new truck. Blah 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 blah. I highly recommend not getting into this. I don't know your situation, so I can't tell you, yeah, you should do it. You know, if you have a bunch of debt or whatever, you definitely should not be getting into this. This is definitely something to be cautious about. It's sounds like the rates are going to continue to go down in 2019. We just don't know how much. It seemed like, and we're hearing that diesel prices are going to be going up in 2020. I can't remember all the facts about that, but that's going to hurt your wallet. Also, there's going to be changes made to the ELD, and it sounds like they're going to be a little bit more lenient in the way that it allows drivers to be able to use their hours more in driving instead of being stuck somewhere or split up their sleeping. Whatever, it sounds like it's going to allow them to be able to drive more, and if they're being able to drive more, that means there's going to be more drivers on the road, which means that the rates will possibly go down from that as well. As of right now, I'm sure there's more companies than what we heard, but we've heard of 2 companies for sure that have closed.
Yeah, there's Williams Trucking, which is out of Alabama, and then there's Falcon Transport, which is out of Youngstown, Ohio, and apparently both of them, like, abruptly, sent emails or text to their employees and said, the Williams Trucking one sent an email and said, finish up your loads today, bring the truck back, empty everything out, turn your paperwork in, and arrange for someone to pick you up. We're closing our doors. And apparently, like around 3 weeks before that happened, one of the office people that worked there, like, abruptly quit. And so another worker there was like, hey, are you guys going to be going out of business? And they said, no, everything's fine. And they're like, no, straight up, can you tell us, like, are you guys gonna go, out of business? And they said, absolutely not. And so they just, like, closed their doors, and then the Falcon in Ohio, they sent a message, and there was over 500 employees that lost their jobs. And I actually read up on the WARN Act, WARN, WARN, like warning act. It says that if you're laying off, if you have over 100 employees and you're doing a mass layoff, you have to give at least 60 days notice. And like 11 days after Falcon, like, cut everybody off, they released a statement saying that they didn't give a warning because they were worried about it jeopardizing their opportunity to even get paid for the loads that they did and that kind of stuff. So of course, looking out for them, which that's over 500 employees that just, like, straight up lost their job. And
And there was even a driver that was stranded out in Virginia, I think, from that.
I am in Tom's Brook, Virginia. I'm just going to leave the truck here. I don't have a job. The company's out of business, so apparently they don't care about us. So I'm, turnabout's fair play. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So, hey, your truck's in Tom's Brook, Virginia. Go get it.
Yeah. And the Williams Trucking in Alabama, that was on May 1st, so not too long ago. And then Falcon was on April 27th. Mm-hmm. So this is recent, like, very, very recent. So, and the Falcon one, they had contracts with GM and Ford and other industries too. And so when they interviewed one of their workers, they said, when GM lost, like, shut down certain plants or whatever, they kind of compensated it and opened up for different, branches or different industries that they started picking up deliveries for, because some people were thinking that it was because of GM that they went out of business, but she was saying that, she doesn't think that's it, because after that happened, they were getting different contracts and stuff to fill in that gap. So, it's a little unnerving seeing bigger companies like that just all of a sudden stopping. So,
well, we've been hearing that there's, like, truck sales, like, orders for brand new semi trucks have gone up, through the roof, and now suddenly they're starting to slow up. So, and I got a feeling a lot of them are going to get canceled, and you're probably going to see a lot more semi trucks and whatever come on the market for sale. Yeah, it's not looking good.
And like our faith is not in anything but God. We know that He'll always provide for us and stuff. So we're not letting this worry like completely take over us where we have all this anxiety and stuff like that. We're praying about it. We're, asking God to direct us and to, let us hear from Him and know that it's from Him too, because He's the most efficient and He wants the best for us. So we're going to listen to wherever He leads us, and we're trying to do that rather than just make our own decisions, and because He knows the whole situation and everything.
So if you're considering doing this, I hope you just don't jump into it and select information that you like because you want to hear it and not listen to this. And I got a gut feeling that most people are probably going to turn this off as soon as we start talking negative about the rates and whatnot.
And say that, that won't happen to me, and that's not going to be the situation for me. I'm going to do things different, so I'll avoid this, and that. But if you're, using a load board and stuff, you're not going to be able to avoid low rates like that and stuff. So.
I don't know. Best thing to do is try to work with the brokers and try to work out a contract with them, so that way when it does hit the fan, or even worse, maybe they'll stick to the contract and still give you those loads for that rate, even though it might be something lower than what you like. Maybe through the tough times it'll be even better. Pay off all the debt you can right now if you have high debt and you're in the game. We wish you the best, and we're not giving up yet. We're still, trying to get our house in order. We're trying to, take steps to better position ourselves just in case things do get worse, which we've been pretty much trying to do that the whole time. Who knows? Maybe we will have to sell Project Blazer over there, and but if that happens, it happens. It's not something we want to do, but we already talked about, what kind of things we can sell if it really does get bad. But we're also looking at different opportunities. We're not ready to give up yet, so you'll still see Truck and Travel around for right now. But if we have to, we will do whatever it takes to put us in the best position, even if it means selling our trailer and the truck. But as of right now, we're still holding on to that stuff, so see what happens. But thanks for watching, guys. I wish you the best, and we appreciate you, and God bless you.
Thanks, guys.
Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down, feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at the beautiful stars, I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me.
Like many drivers, Ford is owed 3 weeks' pay. Checks never arrived yesterday. Driver Brian Chapman was in Austintown waiting for his pay and his Sunday load to roll out when he got the email.
It's wrong the way they did it. But it was a great company to work for, too.
The drivers say they'll find new work soon, but the office workers are worried that it could take time to find a new position. On social media today, many people were quick to blame the closure at GM Lordstown for Falcon shutting down. But all the employees I talked to today say they don't think that that's the case. The truck drivers were hauling everything from groceries to toilet paper and everything in between. Now, I introduced you to Nicole Rupert before. She was a dispatcher for the General Commodities Division. She had this to say.
GM, it did have a big impact because they were a very large portion of our business for a very long time, but we kind of adapted as the shifts went away. We adapted, we took on more business, and so it wasn't just GM related.
Now, in 2017, Falcon Transport was sold by the local company that founded it. It was founded by businessman and philanthropist Don Constantini. It was purchased by an investment firm out of Los Angeles called Counterpoint Capital Partners. I tried calling the company today and connecting with them on the internet. They have not returned my messages. In the studio, Amanda Smith, 27 First News.